There are a few things that embody the essence of Japanese race cars more than the Skyline brand. Going back through time, we see progressively more coarse touring car designs, like the engineers thought it best to bolt vacuum cleaner parts onto metallic boxes in place of actual aerodynamics. Nothing quite epitomizes this so much as the Nissan Skyline R30 Super Silhouette Group 5 from 1984, a few years before even I was born. Fueled by its 2.1-litre turbocharged engine, this car was renowned for spitting massive side flames from its passenger side exhaust, both enthralling race fans everywhere while making competitors consider whether an overtake was worth not having eyebrows for a few weeks. Now available in Gran Turismo for the first time since Gran Turismo 2, it's been over 20 years since this car has surfaced in the series, which is ironic, given that it's been longer between now and then than it was between Gran Turismo 2 and the years this beast actually raced on the track. Gives you a scary perspective on time, doesn't it? We're going to crank this beauty up and let you hear the engine roar, after which I'll return and we'll take it through 3 manic race laps in the only place that would do the sheer insanity of this car justice. A place that, only a few years later, would its successor, the R32, prove itself to be king over the legendary Australian V8 supercars. Make sure to subscribe for more Gran Turismo 7 history lessons and sends down Mount Panorama. Ah crap, spoiled it. Here we go, around Mount Panorama for the first time in this ancient beast from the early 80s, stuck behind a Dodge Viper and Alfa Romeo 4C. Now, the first thing that you notice with me manually shifting, we lose a lot of speed in between shifts compared to the modern cars. Turns out paddle shifting does help a lot, especially if there's a horsepower deficit. Luckily, once we open up, we've got the horsepower to take it. Unfortunately, we've got a Jocelyn on the inside. Brake. I'm trying to work out how to use that shifter. I'm not having an easy time. The clutch pedal is very finicky in Gran Turismo 7. Still trying to work my way around it. So there's a lot of miss or shift action going on as we start to climb. Now this is where the very long gears and the crazy ancient turbo lag really come into their own. You struggle. It feels like a shopping trolley when you start to climb up. But the moment that boost kicks in the high revs, it's all over. The car feels... as this GT300 in front of me just tests the limits of my patience here on lap 1. The hazard's flashing for some reason. Here we go. We've got the outside. No, okay. Apparently we're getting squeezed against the wall already on lap 1. There's some solid Gran Turismo AI for you. Into the dipper now for the first time. What a car. Supremely stable in the lower revs. I'd say it's only the top maybe 1,000 to 500 RPM where things get really ballistic on this car. You have to really watch yourself because you go from just perpetual understeer to massive snap oversteer on an absolute dime, as I am apparently still learning how to shift manually. Thanks to FANATEC for dusting off my new H-pattern shifter there that I apparently have forgotten how to use with all these nice flappy paddle wheels I've been using lately. Here we go through the Conrod. Brake hard at the 150. Trying to remember how to heel and toe again. Not too bad. Takes the inside curb nicely as we approach the Dodge Viper really quickly, flashing our lights just to let him know that we're there. Apparently doesn't do much as we get barged, broadsided on the side there. Make Katsofai. Alright, behind the Alfa Romeo 4C now. The cars have this very strange cadence to their driving. They tend to kind of slam the brakes on you for no reason, or just lift off the throttle and smash into the side of your car as well, destabilizing you on the exit of T1, you know? All the fun things about racing as we start to chase down one of our own people, a Super Silhouette. So that's what we look like from behind, just in case you were wondering. Now where's he gonna brake? Where's that brake zone? Alright, just before the 50, about the start of that service road on the side there. Now we're gonna get the space. They never leave us the space, guys. Oh come on, man, it's not NASCAR. Testa di cazzo, come on. Mate, what are you know what? They've done really well rendering the essence of Australian highway driving here. I'll give them that. The Japanese, they really know how we kind of orient ourselves on the public roads here, which Bathurst, believe it or not, actually is when it's not a racetrack. Ah, boy. Alright, approaching really quickly to that VW. I don't know what his issue is. Maybe he's got docked horsepower. That BOP just not working for him up the mountain. We go down the dipper for the second time now behind the old BMW Z4. Not going to be the highest horsepower car in the world, but he's going to be shifting a lot more elegantly than we do. We try and wrap it around on the inside, get a nice run out. Just a light tap on the rear quarter panel of the car. Nothing too crazy. I'll take the blame for that one. And down the conrod again. This is where we shine. This is where we can open up all of our crazy amount of horsepower from this surprisingly 2.1 litre four-cylinder engine. Turns out ancient turbos go a long way, and ancient box body kits apparently keep us planted to the track as well as we rapidly approach the LMS Evo here. The trumpety boy. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with the sound design of this car, but here we are. If you brake on the inside, I'm starting to fall into the rhythm of... I was about to say I was starting to fall into the rhythm of shifting manually, but apparently not. The car feels like its performance outpaces its ability to shift. The moment that you shift in a manner... Come on, Aston. I love the DBR9, but come on, mate. You gotta drive with a bit more pace and gusto than that. I do love the look of that car, though. Brilliant livery, too. But yes, the shifting of this car is really what lets it down the most. I feel like I have to shift so much slower than I can to get the game to actually accept the shift. We climb the mountain again. That perpetual lag to just try and clamber up in third gear. Come on, give us that horsepower to wrap around. Surprisingly steady, this car, really bolted down. You really get a feeling that it's an old Super Silhouette, aka I guess the equivalent of a modern GT500. Really cool era of motorsport, the mid to late 80s. What do we have racing then? We had the old Group A's, either at the same time as this or slightly after, with the R32 that came and dominated the mountain years later. And of course the Group C category, which was just ballistic. Okay. Apparently this is a NASCAR race. I wasn't informed, but here we are. I mean, we're behind a Corvette. Maybe it is. Corvette, an interesting cadence again to its driving. A lot of bizarre concertina effect, but I don't know why, because there's no one in front of it. Now we've taken it on the exit. We're going side by side. Is there going to be a photo finish here with this Corvette as it jostles on ahead of us? We're losing time in our shifts. Will we get it back once we open up here on the conrod? Well in the draft, well in the toe, and a lot more horsepower would seem on the top end. It's the low downforce sections of Mount Panorama that are really helping us out in the old Super Silhouette, which is interesting. You'd think it'd be weighed down by all of those aerodynamic boxes strapped to it. Apparently not. As we come up to our last turn one more time, I'm just focusing on my shifts. Get the downshifts right, Erman. Focus on your heel and toe. Okay. Oh, that's a nasty sound. Okay, I had to mess up the last shift, didn't I? Luckily, we had room to spare, but I'm not sure I'll ever live down the shame. There we go. The crazy bastards actually snuck it into GR3. While the shifting leaves a lot to be desired, the car is unbelievably visceral while still being extremely planted. It adds a bit of direly needed character to a class saturated by real-life modern GT cars, which all drive more or less interchangeably. Consider grabbing the FANATEC gear this was shot with using the links in the description to support this channel. Subscribe for more sim racing content, and until next time, I'll see you all later.